Hey guys, what's going on? Nananki here, bringing you another Team Fortress 2 gameplay commentary. Today I am playing the Engineer, I'm playing with the Gunslinger, the Frontier Justice, and the pistol, good old standard pistol. I know we got the new short-circuit mods to live with, to play with, to deal with, but I was not messing with it today. I am just too much of a fan of the pistol when I'm using the Gunslinger. It's too much of a useful support for your mini-sentries, if you ask me. With the big sentry especially, I can see going for the short-circuit because you need to defend it. And yeah, my initial spree was brought to an end by that sniper. I felt like I even had a shot against the soldier since he was focusing the mini-sentry and not me. No such luck. Here's that same sniper again. I failed to pick up an assist. The soldier blew him up. I didn't hit him. No big deal. But moving ahead and trying to stake out a spot in the tunnel while it's still devoid of red players, and at the same time expecting red players and not seeing any, is kind of a nerve-wracking situation. But they really don't make me wait long, as you can see. Soldier triggering a dead ringer spy as he moves in, and I'm not trying to push up a hill against the soldier and another soldier and a medic, and right there that was a calculated decision to take that rocket, because one rocket to a building mini-sentry will destroy it now that they fixed the fact that mini-sentries didn't used to have reduced health while building. They had all their health from the moment they went down. Now they don't. They will take one rocket to destroy if they are in the process of being built, and so by tanking that one rocket, then I would have that additional firepower if I did have to make a standoff against a soldier and a medic, and hopefully whoever on my team would be there to help. So now I'm chasing that spy and kind of crossing my fingers that maybe he was going for that medal, and yeah, I didn't see him or hear him anywhere, so he went some other direction. I lost him. So frustrating when you're meleeing an invisible spy, and it's like, you can't go far. If I pick the right direction again, I might catch you, but no such luck. And here's kind of what I'm talking about with the pistol supporting the mini-sentry. It's extremely handy for sprinkling additional damage in kind of in a pinpoint manner, as opposed to the 1, 2, 3 of the shotgun, which if you're not at real close range isn't going to be super efficient. And, man, I had my back turned to that scout for so long, and I just completely lucked out because he was a spy and was just not paying attention. And the only reason to de-sap that mini with that little health left was to deprive the spy of a point. And you can't ask for an easier revenge than that. The guy was just standing there in front of me like, oh, hello, what kind of Christmas gift is this? Half expected that pyro to still be chasing me that I saw out on the ledge, but I don't know, maybe that's him. In fact, it's pretty likely, I'd say. And he did not follow me directly, which actually could have been a problem, but I think I had a good enough lead on him, I would have been alright. But it's always kind of a tempting fate going up against a ledge with a pyro at your back. So I at least managed to make use of my one revenge crit there before I was in between a rock and a hard place, or a pyro and a soldier. Same difference. So charging back to the front, dropping another teleporter on the way, and upward in the second point especially, I don't feel like there's a really great place for a teleporter. A lot of times you find people putting them down below here or out against the ledge where the health and metal pickup are, and I knew the spy was still around there, so I was bumping into him over and over again. This turned into a rather protracted fight, but that ledge right there is commonly where Engi's build I see occasionally, but there's all these positions have huge drawbacks. They're either out of the way enough that you're going to get picked on by spies, or they're in the way enough that you're going to get the main brunt of the enemy's force without any real geography to act as a barrier. You're kind of screwed. Anywhere you go, I feel like, on this map. That's one of the reasons I like to play mini-sentry Engi on this map. Though, of course, that does introduce another question, which is, are you obligated, if you're playing Engineer and you're the only Engi on the team, to play big sentry Engi just so that you can fulfill the role that your team expects you to? It's like, if you're the only demo man, do you have to use the sticky bomb launcher to be able to blow up sentries? Or is it okay to play Demo Knight if that's what you feel like doing, and the team, if they need a Demo Man, then someone else can go Demo Man? It's a question to which there is no 100% answer, and on top of that, it's a question to which I think Valve could probably fix if they just put a little icon up next to the little icon for your class of which weapons you had equipped. They could be very small, and it would still be identifiable. I'm willing to wager anybody who played for any amount of time would be able to pick them out very easily, and you would know instantly, oh, that Demo Man is a full Demo Knight. We need an actual demo to go kill those sentries, or whatever the case may be. And you may have noticed the timer there when I walked away from my teleporter, and it ended up being 9 seconds. That's 9 seconds to walk from my teleporter to their spawn. So 9 seconds. Would you guys call that a really far walk? I would say that is a completely reasonable amount of distance between the main battlefront and the teleporter location, especially since I'm trying to hide the thing. If I put it any closer than I did, I feel like it's one of the immediate paths people would check while looking for something like a concealed teleporter. especially when you see engineers behind the front line or anybody approaching with blue sparkles from the back. It's kind of a good giveaway that there's a teleporter around, and it usually needs to be dealt with pretty quickly because you do not want to have to deal with attacks from both sides. It's a really quick way to lose your tactical advantage. I could not figure out where to put that there. I was like, somewhere where they won't see it until they actually step out the spawn door. It'll kind of cover my back. I figured I had a halfway decent shot here of harassing the Engi and maybe running back in and grabbing the health, but then the freaking sentry gun saw me through that tiny crack. I should have realized when it turned around to look at me. Managed to kill a pyro at least with the mini sentry before the scout noticed that these stairs were blocking the thing, and I guess he thought he was going to get an easy kill until he noticed it was in fact shooting him when he stood in line of sight with it to be able to fire back. Like, yeah, the stairs block bullets both ways. That's kind of how that works. So now, the last 10 seconds, I managed to get 2 good 90 damage shots on 2 people, or maybe the same guy for all I know, and notice that spy moving in there while my team is clearing the cart? I didn't notice. I didn't notice at all. I was so focused on that scout, I put in a little box there in case you didn't notice him. I did not even see the spy. You know those tests they say there where you show a bunch of people a video with a man in a gorilla suit off to the side or something and your focus is distracted, and afterwards they ask people if they saw the man in the gorilla suit? Well, the man in the gorilla suit was the spy, and I did not see the man in the gorilla suit. Luckily it didn't matter for me because my team picked up my slack and managed to capture the point without me. My teleporter went down almost immediately after, so obviously there were people looking for it, and as always, it does not last long. And awesome pyro putting me out, much appreciated. I love attentive pyros who know to compression blast to put out fire. You know, you can't really blame them if they have a phlogistonator, they don't have the ability to put you out. But if you have the ability and you fail to put somebody out, then anybody for that matter who is on fire, then you are in fact a bad pyro. And that is one of my favorite sentry gun spots right there, the mini sentry, because it literally hides in those bushes. You can't even see the thing almost from certain angles unless you look at it. It almost always catches a few people by surprise. I know I managed to rack up a couple of kills here while we're pushing this particular point with relatively little resistance. I feel like the first point and the third point are almost like gimmies, and then like the second and the last point are the 2 spots where you can really kind of mount a successful defense because the map doesn't have 7 different alternate paths around. It all comes down to like 1 or 2 choke points. Like the last point here, you know, it comes down to like this upper path, the lower path, and the main path, and they are all kind of on top of each other to a degree. And you can put a sentry on this ledge here, though it's kind of tricky, and more often than not I end up putting it in front of the ledge, and then all it does is shoot the ledge and ineffectively waste ammo and reveal its presence to anyone who happens to be paying attention. But if you can put it up on the ledge, it manages to shoot basically everything on the point. Anybody that even crosses the point. Unfortunately for me, it gets picked off by a spy. Very disappointing, because that is just a very lovely position, and really nobody on the red team had picked it out up to that moment. I do have 6 revenge crits though, and of course I've got to make use of those, even though my sentries are dropping alarmingly fast, and nothing better than a heavy to absorb some fat meat shots. Managed to drop the Engi as well and head up top and take out his mini sentry. And I kind of thought we had it here. I saw people pushing. I see only 1 or 2 reds left, and we got my mini sentry over there on the right shooting people down. I'm like, oh yeah, this is gonna be it. I have 1 hit till death, but there's a demo. And did you see how close that cart was to going into that hole? I want to know what kind of physics make the wheels bounce back up onto the track. You saw them; they were falling. That thing was in. I refute your reality and substitute my own. So, in my reality, we won right then and there. I was raised up on the shoulders of the entire team and proclaimed the greatest Engi of all time. But in reality, a much more depressing place, I am in fact still battling, and my team is getting approached by a medic demo pair, and that's what I'm voicing about. I'm voicing my alarm at the prospect of them all being blown up without paying attention. But luckily for me, once again, and my team for that matter, the scout was paying attention, and the medic like broke off, healing the demo man, like, I'm just gonna go over here now. And then there were no reds left, and we had the point. And I got second. And I was pretty satisfied with that. Which brings us to defense, and sticking my dispenser in one of my favorite spots for dispenser at the beginning of this map, because there's no good spot for a teleporter. Mine is back a little ways over, kind of behind the rock that's next to the void, just to have some distance between it and the rest of my stuff. But amazingly, it worked out very well. Normally that spot is not really the best of spots, but sticking a teleporter up in the corner next to your dispenser there just is kind of too stereotypical. It's like I want to mix things up. I try different places. Sometimes they meet with success, sometimes less. Sometimes even if they meet with a marginal degree of success like this round, the teleporter is more or less unmolested for a majority of the round, and you could call it a successful location. But I could still kind of get the feel that if I was up against people who were really out to destroy it, who were aggressive about taking out my teleporter, it would have been taken out. It would have been taken out repeatedly, and that wouldn't have made a good spot. And there it is over yonder, sitting here describing a location I had not yet seen in the video, thanks to the glories of editing and the time that is saved. 30 minutes of footage becomes a 12-minute video, or whatever. Like that demo man there, like, he had a really good opportunity to kill my teleporter, instead he came around the other side. Like, for me personally, my priority is to take out the telly, cut off the reinforcements, divide and conquer. Very basic strategy. Having the entire team together makes it a lot harder to destroy them. Team Fortress. Kind of make that joke a little bit too often, but it really is the case that people don't think about the most elementary tactics and strategy. Instead, they get caught up on the moment-to-moment fighting back and forth, which, of course, is kind of the primary focus and the primary reason you're playing, but at the same time, if you ignore the other components of the battle, like getting to the front line quickly, you're gonna be just screwed. And this scout kind of made me laugh, because he's trying to bonk juice past the front line, kind of like what I was doing, getting past everybody, but instead of actually getting past everyone and being effective, he keeps getting randomly juggled and bounced all over the place, and even when he does get past me, the other Engi on our team is built up at like the second point. For some reason, he doesn't even make an appearance at the front. I think his only point the whole round was probably when the scout with the bonk ran into his sentry gun's range randomly. The only reason I built around that corner in that moment was because I expected in the next instant to see that soldier. Of course, 2 seconds went by, and I was like, oh, he's not coming, and of course, he was. That happens to me all too often. I judge correctly what's going to happen, but then I don't give it enough time to actually play out. And I second-guess myself, and I think, oh, no, I should have moved that sentry out instead of building it back around the corner. That soldier's not there, in fact. And like, yeah, he was. He was totally there. Here's the other spot I really like building dispensers on this map, and right next to the health, of course, because people going for the health will then have access to your dispenser to be able to top off their health if they need it, or fill up their ammo, or whatever else. That way, even people who don't know your teleporter, your dispenser is there, will run into it just in the course of looking for health on their own. So there's no, like, having to communicate with them where it is. It's not hidden behind a rock somewhere, while at the same time it's not in the main line of sight or anything. And I love this part here. I was shooting randomly, and like everyone I shot got headshotted. I was like, boy, it would be funny if that medic got headshotted. I was like, that was amazing! Everyone I shoot with my pistol gets headshotted. I was like, just waiting for it to happen again. Like, come on, I need somebody. Here's a pyro. Let's see if I can... Is 4 times the charm? Like, no? Come on, sniper. What was that? You're slacking now. And here comes the bonk scout. I'm sitting here telling stories about stuff that's going to happen in the video that you're currently watching. So, suspense. What's going to happen? Oh, I guess he got killed by a random sentry. What do you know? Duct tape warrior on top of things. It's just hilarious to me that there's a guy built up at the second point and not even really doing anything. And you know, how many times would my teleporter have gone down if I was just completely oblivious to people headed in that direction? But instead, when there's a random demo and a random spy, like, I'm over there, I'm trying to put some pressure on. Went ahead and blew up my other dispenser, of course, to move it back to this location, because we had pretty much reclaimed this hill. I was like, well, as long as we're holding this area again, I'm going to move my dispenser up. It's not like having it upgraded to level 2 would make a big difference. In fact, it wasn't even upgraded, the one that I had underneath the building next to the health pack. And of course, this is next to a tiny health pack, though not quite as big, and it has to be a little bit around the corner so that it's not in the line of fire. It's still visually obvious from the location of the health. Once again, that's kind of useful in my experience. I tend to have more success getting big healing numbers when I do that. So we're down to basically the last 30 seconds. We've been holding the front pretty solidly with that one moment of doubt where they were kind of pushing over the hill and we had to fall back a little bit. That was the only moment of doubt, and they did finally take out my teleporter. Not big surprise, but at least I made him pay for it, so at least he's not stabbing anyone in the final 18 seconds when it would, you know, be really, really relevant. And again, I don't want to get my little mini snipe, so I figure I'll just throw some random shots here at the front, because I've got those revenge crits to use, and that's the whole reason you play with the revenge crits. I don't know how I missed that guy, but totally didn't matter because he's not even paying attention. He's running out of spawn with a katana in overtime. I think he's pretty well given up on the round. I think the heavy maybe wanted to kill me, or maybe he just wanted to jump in the pit before anybody could kill him in overtime. I don't know. I had a lot of assists that round. That's the only reason I got first place. I was surprised that Sniper wasn't in the list with as many headshots as he got. Maybe I was just paying attention to that one random moment. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I do greatly appreciate it. As always, do like it if you liked it, and I will catch you next time. Peace.